Hello, everyone, once again. This is Rob, and welcome back to Media Awareness and another Doctor Who review. This week we're talking about the episode Rogue. Before I get to that, however, a quick reminder that the fundraiser continues. For those of you new to my channel and unaware, I am a disabled individual, and I use a motorized wheelchair slash scooter all day, every day for my independence and I need your help. My insurance will not cover anything with regard to my scooter as they view it as a quote luxury item end quote. Despite the fact that I am unable to walk whatsoever, unable to use any other type of power wheelchair, and unable to use a standard wheelchair due to the fact that my dexterity only allows me the use of one hand. Additionally, I'm unable to walk whatsoever. So my scooter is my lifeline to independence. And without that, I am a fish out of water. So with that stated, there is a spot fund account link below. Any and all help is welcome. I mean that sincerely. And believe me, even the smallest contributions do add up over time. At the current time, my goal is to refurbish my existing scooter so that way it lasts longer than the average one would. And parts are beginning to fail as I speak, which is quite terrifying to think of. And therefore, your assistance at this point in time is crucial. If you, whatever you can do is greatly appreciated and will allow me to purchase the parts necessary to replace the um, failing parts, as well as to pay the trained technicians to install these parts, as none of this is covered as stated. Below my video in the description, below the title as well as in a separate section, below that you'll find the Spot Fund account, and it's easy to contribute. Takes a few seconds. Any and all help is welcome. I do want to extend a gracious thanks to those who have contributed thus far, in addition to those who plan on contributing, as your contributions have and will make a world of difference in my life. I can't stress that enough. So thank you all. I love you all. On with this review. So, this episode's causing quite the buzz on the internet, and I'd like to cover this episode in as much detail in as short a time as possible, not to take up too much of your time. So, we have the episode itself um, begin with a very um, regal uh, looking gentleman of sorts having an encounter with another gentleman in what we could presume would be like sort of the Renaissance period of England. And this uh, one gentleman finds his body taken over by the other. Um, and we have this not only inclination, but we have this uh, sort of thought of body snatching, or basically of being having imposters as these actual people. So uh, that's how the episode begins. Now the actual episode really starts after the credits. Um, and Ruby Sunday and the Doctor are at this gathering, and they're mingling, um, and Ruby is very feisty and has a interaction with the gentleman who is rather abrasively arrogant, and Ruby just tells him off as if she would in modern day, and she walks off. And um, you don't really think much of this. You know that that gentleman uh, has a bit more going on, but that's really not necessary to harp on at the moment. What's important to note at this point in time is the doctor makes his way up to the balcony and meets a gentleman up there, and the doctor makes some general observations about the gentleman, that he is basically monitoring all the exits and really has a hold on the place itself. And they have a uh, flirtatious uh, sort of interaction before the gentleman takes the doctor to his spaceship, and the doctor finds very quickly that this gentleman is a bounty hunter, going by the name of Rogue. We don't know his actual name. But the doctor does find him remarkably attractive. And there is a mutual chemistry that is there. And it's actually quite nice to see the interaction. Um, so we go from there to probably the uh, the, the weak link of the episode itself, which are these imposter aliens. And what they're doing is, quote unquote, cosplaying um, different humans just for the sake of experience. Um, I suppose they're very bored. I don't know. But this is apparently how they enjoy themselves. And they, the one sets her sights on Ruby Sunday, whereas the others, uh, once they have observed more going on, begin looking at other individuals. And at one point, the doctor and Rogue decide to get their attention. That way, they can call them out into the open and basically catch them in a sort of temporal trap that they have rigged up. And they have to cause a scene to basically bring these aliens all out into the open. And they do so by having this very passionate dance. The doctor spontaneously makes a rather vocal objection in general, just to kind of cause more of a scene. And it does. And Rogue gets closer and says, I'm not sure what to say. And doctor's just like, say anything you want. So Rogue gets down and holds up a ring to propose. And the doctor is very moved by this, but he has to storm off to lure these aliens outside. And they effectively do so. Now, the one alien who had her sights set on Ruby Sunday was unaware that Ruby Sunday was wearing a pair of earrings that will basically um, allow her to blend in to that environment without basically being uh, unaccepted. And uh, they also apparently block alien interference. So when the alien creature that's cosplaying alien decides to take over Ruby Sunday, we see in a flashback sequence at one point that Ruby fights this thing off with a book in a library and is cosplaying herself. Uh, so basically, once the Doctor and Rogue have everyone captive in one room in this stasis field, basically, that will transport them the Doctor realizes that the girl who is Ruby is really Ruby. And Rogue is standing next to him and asks him, "You can't do this to your friend, can you?" And the Doctor says no. And he's crying. And Rogue kisses him very meaningfully and passionately and takes the device, jumps into the stasis thing, removing Ruby at the same time, and says to the Doctor, "Find me," and presses the button, activating this transport, and off goes Rogue with these aliens. And uh, prior to that, in the TARDIS for a brief time, the Doctor was showing Rogue his ship, as he put it, and because TARDIS technically is a spaceship, time and space, but that's okay. And they almost kiss there, but they do actually kiss prior to uh, Rogue entering this area to save Ruby. And basically, in that moment, I think he wins the Doctor's heart. And it's really, really sweet. And uh, the Doctor and Ruby exit the premises shortly thereafter. They're outside. Ruby asks the Doctor if he's okay. And he basically starts going on about, where do you want to go next? What do you want to do next? And she basically says, you don't have to act like this. And he says, no, I do. This is who I am. And Ruby walks ahead of him, and we see the Doctor put on the ring that Rogue gave him. And that is how our episode ends. So there you have Doctor Who Rogue. The weak link is the cosplay thing. I really think that was a really lame plot device. Uh, it really, the aliens could have had more of an ulterior motive for being in this time period, interfering in some way. Well, yes, they had future plans that they talked about as to maybe in inserting themselves into uh, areas of uh, political life, etc., etc. But it's mentioned as a passing statement. It's really not anything significant to the actual grand scheme of things. They are just there, and basically uh, uh, impersonating these people just for the fun of it, which I guess is possible it would happen, but at the same time, it's a really, really lazy plot device in terms of writing. Now, onto the strong suit, the romantic involvement of the Doctor and Rogue is really, really quite intense and quite moving. And there is a lot of interesting dialogue taking place online at the moment about this same sex kiss and this being a landmark moment in Doctor Who and the first same sex kiss in Doctor Who. Which, may I inform you all, if you are new to Doctor Who, this is not the first same sex kiss. Yes, the series had an extended hiatus from roughly the late 1980s through the 1990s, with the exception of a pilot film simply called The Movie, um, because it was only a TV pilot featuring the Eighth Doctor Paul McGann. And then the series was successfully soft rebooted, we'll say, by Russell T Davies, starring Christopher Eccleston in 2005. And the series has been going strong ever since. It has had its ups and downs, and every series does. And at this point in time, it's sort of questionable how the series is doing in terms of audience reception to the new Doctor and to this direction that the series is going in. But with that stated, at the end of Christopher Eccleston's run as the Doctor in 2005, we see the first same-sex kiss between the Doctor and Captain Jack Harkness. We then see many other same-sex kisses uh, between either the Doctor and other individuals or companions. And it's really nothing new to Doctor Who. And I want to make that clear because a lot of people are either not aware of this, haven't watched enough Doctor Who to know this. But it's pretty common in Doctor Who. Now, the romantic aspect is new. That being said, it works. And there is no reason for the Doctor to not have a romantic involvement with a gentleman. He's over nine. He's over. Oh God. I almost said he's over 900 years old, but that was like with the Ninth Doctor. He's old. Let's just put it that way. I forget exactly the amount of years now because it has changed. It has gone up considerably, and a lot of other things have happened as well. There's different things that have happened to the Doctor along the way, and I think if anyone could pull this off, it is our current Doctor. Um, Now, that being said, you look back at classic Doctor Who, And you could see definite potential for a same-sex kiss occurring either of Tom Baker, Colin Baker, even Sylvester McCoy. Um, those gentlemen, especially Colin Baker, were all very flamboyant individuals. And it didn't happen because of the time frame. Now, the consciousness of uh, the world has changed, and the mindset has changed, and yet this same-sex kiss is stirring up quite the controversy, and it's unwarranted. It's a kiss. It means something to the characters, and that's all that matters. It's a TV show. And it's not the first time it's happened in this show. So people that are concerned about how this is going to affect their children should get a grip on themselves. Because this isn't the first time we've seen this in modern Doctor Who. Modern Doctor Who being Doctor Who from 2005 on, when it was, I will say, soft rebooted, because it was just a continuation, but it needed a sort of catalyst, and Christopher Eccleston was a perfect Ninth Doctor, and the perfect actor we could get to play that role, and I think he did a magnificent job at that point in time of bringing Doctor Who back and bringing Doctor Who back quite successfully. So, in modern Doctor Who, now we have a same-sex kiss. Perhaps people are upset because it's happening during Pride Month. All I could say to you people that are getting upset because of that, get over it. Accept people for who they are. Their choices in life are theirs. And there are more important things in the world to be upset over. So think about that. We all have our preferences. We all have our own viewpoints on life and sexuality and different aspects of both. And I personally feel like this was perfect for Doctor Who, and it couldn't happen at a better time. And I hope that the Doctor does find Rogue. I really do. So, there you have my coverage of Doctor Who, Rogue. And I hope you enjoyed this review. Please do subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed and become part of my YouTube family. I'd love to have you. I do many things on my channel. I do album reviews. I do reactions to music. I do all kinds of things. Book reviews. However, I haven't not done a book review yet. I am working on currently rereading Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, a book I highly recommend. I've read it before some time ago. However, this is a reread, and I'm doing that for the sake of you guys. So I will have that up as soon as I'm finished with that book itself. And I have a lot to say about it. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.